Hello everyone. In last sessions, what we discussed the registered keyword. After that, we discussed the error handlings in our playbook script. After that, we discussed the variable. So today we are going to see the variables. Already we know that how many types of the variable in our Ansible playbook script. Mainly we have the four types of the variable. First one is the runtime variable. Second one is a playbook variable, group variable, and post variable. So first, let's see run variable. What is the run variable? Run variable is nothing but suppose if we created one playbook script and at that time I want to pass some dynamic value that is called as a we can say called as a runtime variable. Suppose if we have the one script in that I want to install the Java, Python and Maven. So these are the packages I want to install it. So in my current machine. So at that time what we have to do? We have to mention the each time new variable. So for first variable for the Java, second variable for the Python, third variable for the Maven. These are the things. Instead of that, we can declare runtime variable and we can change the value in our runtime environment. While we executing of the our playbook script, at that time we can pass our variable values and we can execute as per our requirement while. So this is our runtime variables. After that we have the playbooks variable. So what is the playbook variable? So playbooks variable is nothing but we can say called as a while we writing of the script at that time we have to pass the playbook variables. So already we know that while we writing of the any playbook, so how many ways we can say called as a how many factors we have in the playbook script. We have mainly three factors in the playbook script. First one is a host, second one is a variables, and third one is a task. These are so while we writing of the playbook script, then we can pass the playbook variables and we can execute our playbook script. This is our second playbook variable. So we can say call as a it's a static value. After that we have the group variables. So what is the group variable? Group variable is nothing but suppose if I'm having a five machines. In that five machines, two machines for the web server, two machines for the DB server, and one machine for the ungroup. So this is the single machine. So I want to execute for particular the script for the only web server. Then what we have to do here? We have to go with group variable. So that is called the group variable. Suppose I want to execute my script for the DB server. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with groups variable. So that is called as a group variable. And what about of the host variable? Host variable is nothing but we have the fifth machine that is called as a single machine. So this is my ungrouped machine. So we don't have any group. So that's why we are going to execute our host variable. In that host variable, if I want to execute particular of the script for the particular of the machine, then what we have to do here? So we have to go with host variable. So these are the we have the mainly variables in our Ansible. So whenever we using of the runtime variable, just we have to pass the runtime value. Then we are going to execute our script. Then whenever we have the playbook variable, then we can say call the these are the static. Suppose I want to install the Python, Java, and Maven. Then what we have to do here? We have to declare the three variables. So that's why we can say called as a playbook variable. And group variable, it is a grouping of that particular of the machine. And host variable is nothing but it is a specific for the particular of the machine that called as a host variable. So let's see. First, we will see here the runtime variable. While we writing of the runtime variable, so we have to write it one script here. So we have to write it one playbook here. So that is the called as a runtime variable. So we are going to start here the runtime variable host. So we know that how to write it the playbooks every time host. Then we can say call as a first one is a web server. This is my web server. Already we know that this web servers we already configured in our inventory file. Also DB servers already we included in our inventory file and we configured of the machines in our inventory file. One machine is a web server, one machine for the DB servers. That is called as a we are going to consider here the web server. So for already we these setup seen in our second session. So this is the we are going to see here the web server. Okay. After that, instead of that all, just I'm going to install the one package in my web server machine. So that's why I'm going to say here the, then after that we can say called as a become a yes, otherwise we can say called as a become a true. So we can say whenever we have the yes or true, what is the difference between the, either you can mention here the true, either you can mention the yes. So become is nothing but we are giving to that particular the file as a pseudo privileges. If we are not giving to become a true or yes, then what will be happen? Here we don't have any pseudo privileges, so that's why we cannot install our packages. So as per our requirement wise, we cannot execute our playbook script. So that's why always we are going to say called as a become a true or become a yes. Both are the same values here. After that, I'm going to mention here the task. Then we can say called as a, sorry, I'm going to mention like this name. After that, okay. So first we will, I'm not going to create any directory here. So I'm going to create one task, then first name that is called as a install package. So this is my install package. Then we can say called as the appcat. Appcat is nothing but it is a model. It is a package installer for the Nginx servers, but we are going to see here the yum model. So I am going to install the sttpd packages here. After that, what we have to do here? So we can say called as a name, and we can say called as a, but you can see here the, we are going to mention here the name is a variable. So that variable we are going to assign the value that is called the httpd. But I don't want to provide this value into my playbook script. I want to provide this value into my runtime environment. Then what we have to do here? So we have to mention like this, then package name. So whenever we are going to mention the variable value here, then we can present like this, two curly braces here, one is the outer, another is the inner. Then we can say call as a, this is my package name. So we can say call as a, this is my variable, and we are going to say this is my package name. We can say call as a, this is my variable name. So this is the value, this is also value. We are going to assign this, both of the assign. After that, whenever we, while executing our playbook script, at that time we can pass the this value in our runtime environment. Let's see. After that, you can see the state is nothing but it is a present, otherwise you can mention latest one. So it depends, both are the same. So httpd packages are the latest one we are going to install it. So that's why we are going to mention here the state is a latest, otherwise we can suppose the present, both are the same. Then I'm going to close this one. So we know that, so this is the optional, we can use, either we can, it depends. Okay, so we are not going to use it. Okay, after that what we have to do here? So already I'm in the my control node machine. Then what we have to do here? We have to create a one file that's called web.yml. After that, what we have to do here? So we have to paste it, then exit, then cool. Let's see. So we are going to execute our playbook here, playbook. Then you can see here the web.yml. You can see here the, we will get one error here at a runtime environment. So we started our gather fact, but here you can see here the, this message install package we are not included. Why we are getting this error? You can see here the package names is undefined. So did we provide the value for that package name variables? No, we are not provided. So that's why we need to mention the package name. Then we are going to allow it to the install std packages in our web server machine. Then what we have to do here? So we have to write it like this, then we have to pass the value here, then extra vars, then package name. So what was the my variable name? Package name. So we know that if we have the two keywords in our any of the languages, then what we have to do here? So we have to follow that naming convention here. In the same, we are following the naming convention in our Ansible playbook scripting. You can see here the package, then underscore name. That is the we are mentioned here. Then we are going to assign the value. What we want to install it here, sttpd packages we are going to install it. So this is my runtime value we are going to pass in our playbook script. So that's why we are going to install sttpd packages in our particular of the machines. So you can see here the we already mentioned the web server machine. Suppose if I mention the db server machine, then what will be happen here? Then we have to pass the same thing, value extra vars package name, then stt, then it will be install the sttpd packages in our db server machine. So this is our runtime variable. So you can see here the so gather fact, this is my task. You can see here the yes, successfully we installed packages here. Okay, because we are going to connection that machines my managed node first one. After that we are going to install. This is my task. So we already given this task to my playbook script, then it is going to in our task, then we are going to recap that one. So it's okay. So if I'm playing again same thing, then what will be happen here? So you can see the okay, already we know that. So this is the idempotency. So Ansible won't be allowed to duplications in our machine. So that's why we can say call it the okay. Suppose I want to install the Git software, Git packages. Then what will be? We can change easily here. So this is the we can say called as the runtime variable advantages. We have the one advantages that is called as a. So suppose I want to install the three packages in my machine. Then what we have to do? We have to define the separate three variables. Then we are going to install it. Instead of that, we can use the runtime variable and we can change the value in our runtime as per our requirement, right? Then you can see here the it's a change. It means so earlier we don't have any git packages in our machines, so that's why we are installed git in our machine. So that is we can say called as the runtime variable. So this is the one advantages for the runtime variable. Suppose next, if I want to install the next thing playbook variables. So our next variable name is a playbook variable. So you can see here the playbook. In that playbook variables, what we have to do here. So we have to go with like this. So this is my web server, then become a true, then task, then where, then task. After that, what we have to do here, yum, then name, then package name. But are we going to mention here the package here? No, we are not going to mention because we have the one sequence here. While we writing up the any playbook script, at that time we have the sequence. First one is a host. After that, we have the second one is a variable. So we already mentioned the host. After that, what we have to do here? So we have to mention here the variable because we are following the sequence here. First one is a host, second one is a variable, third one is a task. So we can say called as a vars, then my package name is a httpd. Instead of that we are going to mention here the java. Okay, so you can mention the open jdk, that is called as a it depends 1.8 something like that. Okay, after that once we mention the package, then what we have to do here, then task. So after that task, you can see here the we mention here the task. In that task name, install the package, then yum is a nothing but package manager. Then after that we know that package name, so latest one. After that I want to second I want to print that. Okay, so we are going to, so we know that what is the command. If I want to print it, then I don't want to go with command keyword, so I'm going to say like this, debug. What is the debug? Debug is nothing but we can say called as a, let me verify this one, command java version, then check. Okay, display the java version, that is fine. So latest one, so we are going to install the latest, so okay, then we have the latest one, then java versions we are going to check. After that, that java versions we are going to register. We know that what is the purpose of the register keyword. We are going to store this task output, and we are going to pass this output to the my next task. So that's why we can say called as a registered keyword. After that, what we have here, third task. What is the meaning of the third task here? So in this task, we are going to mention the display the Java versions. Then debug keyword Java version is a Java version standard out. That is called as a, we can say called as a, whatever we are going to store it, we are going to print it. Otherwise, you can remove this one also. Okay, so this is, we can remove, otherwise we can keep as it is here. So display java version, otherwise we can say call as a print a message. It can be anything here, because we know that this is the fixed predefined value, this is the customized value as per our requirement wise, as per our condition wise, we are going to put it here the value, then java version. Okay, so we are going to, so let's see. So I'm going to create it one machine. I'm going to create it one file here, 0 dash web dot yml. Sorry, 0 web dot yml. You can see here the, so we are successfully added the file data here. So I want to print it. Let's see, successfully we are stored or not. Yes, we successfully stored the data here. Then what we have to do here, so I want to execute this step. Then do we need to the extra vars packages here? No, we don't require, because we already mentioned the vars in our playbooks script, so there is a no required to this one. So whenever we have the runtime variable, then we have to mention the extra vars, then package, then we have to pass the value. If we mention the variables in our playbook script, then there is a required, no, there is a no required to execute our script in our runtime environment. There is a no required the value in our runtime environment, so that is we can call the runtime variable. If we have the playbook variables, then there is a no required for that command. So as of normal, we can execute our playbook script here. So 0 to then web yml. So you can see here the Ansible playbook 0 to web yml. So as of normal, we are going to execution here started. Then you can see here the install the package. Then once we are going to install the package of the Java, then we are going to print it that. You can see here the first one is a, we don't have any Java, so we are going to check. Then after that, we are going to see here the Java. I think we did a mistake here, Java version. So I think there is a, so this is my Java version keyword, so which we have the stored it. That keyword I want to print it. So same keyword we have to use it. So shift I, we are in the insert mode. So just let me remove this one. Okay. After that, WQ. So you can see here the task our executed or not here. We are not executed our task here. You can see here the yes, we will get the one output here. Java version change. It's true. Then std out here. Then we got our Java version printed message here. But you can see here the Java versions it's changed. But we can see the install packages already we are installing packages. After that we are checking that version. Earlier it was not given that version, so that's why it's changed. Then after that you can see the okay, because already we printed that message. If I'm executing same command, you can see here the what will be happen here. So okay, but Java version it will be changed every time. So because we are going to store our value output by using of the register keyword, so that's why we can see the change. After that we have the playbook variable. So as per our requirement wise we can write it here the playbook variable. So while we writing of the any playbook script, then we have to follow the steps. One is a host, second one is a variables, third one is a task. This is our playbook script sequence. So if I want to create it of the group variable, then what we have to do here, suppose my requirement is a write it the Ansible playbook to install the some softwares like HTTP packages, the Java, Python, and Maven also. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with group variables, because in that group variables I want to install the Java in web server group. I want to install the Python in our web server group. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with groups variable, and I want to install the Git software, Maven software in our DB server group. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with group variables. So we are going to segregate that data first. Let's see. Suppose if I'm having a one requirement here. So this is my control node. In that control node, if we have the 5 machines. So in that 5 machines, so I want to install the different software. For first software, I want to install the Java. So that is fine. And also for second machine also, I want to Java. This is my managed node machines. This is my control node. So we can say called as a control node. We can say called as a managed node. So we can say like this. This is my one managed node. So we can say called as a first machine. After that, I want to install the, let's see. So I want to install the, in second my machines, manage node 02. That I want to install the Git software. Git software. In third machines, this is my, we can say called as a third managed node. In this third managed node, this is my single machine. So managed node, we can say called as a, this is my, then I want to install the, suppose the PD packages. Okay, so this is my requirement. So already we know that by using of the control node we are going to manage it, everything we are going to manage it like this. So each and every machines who will be managing, it will be managed from the control node side only. So here is my requirement is a different. I want to install the Java in first two machines, Git in my second two machines, and in third machines I want to STT packages. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with group variables. Then what we have to do? So suppose already we know that this is my control node, this is my managed node, and where we configured these machines, we are configured these machines in our inventory file. In that inventory file, we mention these machines belong to web server. These machines belong to DB server, and we don't have any machines, third machines, that is we can say called the this is the ungrouped machine. So all of the machines where we are configuring our inventory file. So this is the our Ansible, we can say called the architecture. So in that first two machines, Java, Git, and HTTP. This is a we have the multiples variable. Then how we'll check it here the particular the group variable. So in DB server groups, then it will be checked the so as per our playbook script wise it will be checked. So Java install we have to go with web server. Then we have the Git software. Then we have to go with DB machines. Then if we have the ungrouped machine, then we have to go with HTTP packages that ungrouped machine. Then what we have to do here? So we have to create it one variable file, one YML file. In that YML file, we have to mention it. But whenever we writing of the each and everything, then where we need to the suppose whenever we writing of this YML file, but where we are going to write it this variables file. So as of normal, do we need to write it these variable files in our control? No, no. This is a we can support as a as of normal runtime variable and as of playbook variable we are going to write it. But whenever we are going to with group variable and host variable, then where we need to the write it, we have the home directory, then etc directory, then Ansible, and we have the we have to create it groups where directory. So already we know that file systems are Linux. So one is a home directory. So where we are going to write it this file. Suppose I want to write it the group variable files. So I want to write it the groups variable file. So we are going to write it etc. Then where we are in the that Ansible user. So that's why we are going to mention the Ansible here. After that, we are going to mention here the groups where, because we are going to write it the this invent where we are in the inventory file. We have the inventory file in our host file. So that's why groups variable is related to the YML files we should create in our host inventory file location only. Are we going to create it in our normal control? No. So that's why we need to the write it here the first where we have the host inventory file. We have the host inventory file into the etc. First one is a home directory. After that we have the etc directory. Then we have the Ansible directory. Then we have the host directory. After that we have to write it the group variables like this. In this suppose where we are in etc, then Ansible, then we are going to sorry then we are going to mention here the group vars. After that we are going to write it here the web servers .yml. Why we are going to like this? Because we have the number of softwares we need to install it. After that, if we have the host variable, then what we have to do here? Host variables are used to the specific variable value at a host level or machine level. Host vars will be create like this: home directory, then etc directory, then Ansible directory, then host var, then make particular the machine's name. Suppose if we have the third machine's name, then what we have to do here? So we can create like this. So it will be easily identified. So we are going to see like this. So that's why we are going to say like this here. But whenever we are following any of the variable playbook variables here, so at that time what will be happen here? So it will be start to the check. So we have the sequence share variables will be checked from the Ansible side. Whenever we executed our playbook script, then what will be happen here? It will be start first playbook variable. Are we going to check the runtime variable? No, because this is the value we are going to pass it in our runtime environment. So that's why we don't have any runtime variables in our picture. First, we have the playbook variable. So it will be checked first playbook variable. So suppose if we have the playbook variables here, this is my playbook. So as of normal, we can say call it a web.yml. This is my normal playbook variable. Suppose if we have the variable, then it will be executed. Suppose if we don't have any variables in this web.yml, so we have the some filtration data. Suppose I want to install this Java into particular of the machine, then what we have to do here? So we have to go with group variable and host variable. Then if we don't have any variables in this normal of playbook variable, then what we have to do here? So we have to next checked here, it will be checked into the host variable. So it will be checked host variable here, host vars it will be checked. Suppose if we don't have any host variables in our host variable files, then what will be checked here? It will be checked the group variable here. So this is our sequence to following the variables. So as of normal playbook variables we have, then host var, then we have the group var. Suppose if we have the group var, then it will be start to execute our script according to the requirement, right? So this is our variable sequence here. Suppose if we have the multiple uh, machines, and if I want to install the multiple software in that particular of the machines as per my requirement, well, then what we have to do here? So we have to write it like this variable playbook script here. So first, suppose if we have the groups where, then where we need to the store it, we have to etc then vars and groups here. Suppose if we have the host, then it will be go with host. So first what will be here, it will be, we can call as a playbook variable. Why we are going to first check the playbook vars? Because it will be in our normal mm, playbook script here. Then after that we have the host var, so it will be checked. Then machines first. So first it will be checked normal. We have the playbook variables. Then it will be checked particular of the machines where, if we have the particular machines where, then it will be start to execution. So as per, suppose if we have the some playbook wheres, so in that playbooks wheres we don't have any variables. Suppose if we have the variables, I want to install the STT packages in my third machine, then it will be executed for only host vars, only for the third machines. And after that we have the some group vars. So in that group vars we have the DB server and web server, then it will be executed in my both of machines here according to the configuration wise. We will execute our group vars. So where we have the all values here, so all machines configuration will be available in our host inventory file here. So this is a, we can say call it a variables it will be work, and sometimes it is a understand too difficult here. So let's understand first, keep in your mind. So we will start from the playbook where, because we don't have any runtime variable in our pictures, so we don't have any like this. So that's why we have this, we are talking about only compilation of the vars here. If we have the runtime, then that is fine. It will be checked automatically. But whenever we have the normal playbook script here, then we have to remember these points. First, it will be start from the playbook variables. Then it will be go with host var. It will be go with group var. This is our sequentials here. In our upcoming sessions, so let's see. We will write it the host vars and groups vars playbook script. Then it will be some more clarification to understand the groups vars and host var. After that, we will start our next topic once we completed variables. So we have only two variables are pending here. So once we complete it, then we have the one one more two more sessions to our remaining topics in our Ansible concept. So we will see the Ansible vault and Ansible roles. So vault is nothing but it is related to our security, and roles is nothing but, so we know that already we discussed role privileges in our Linux operating system. Like that we have the Ansible roles here. Then we will see our next topic. I think that's it. Rows and I think vault we have the pending topic. Once we complete it, then we will start our next DevOps tools. We can say called as a Dockers. We will start it. So most important concept Docker and Kubernetes. Only we have the two sections are pending. One is a Docker, another is a Kubernetes. Then I think one more tool we need to cover it, that is related to the Git software. So Git, so very important also. So as a DevOps engineer, we should know. So at the advanced level. So if we are aware about of the push pull to the code and each and everything, that is fine for. After that, we need to create the branches and everything. Who will be manage it? It will be managed from our DevOps team side. So once we complete it, then we will start our Docker concept. Once we completed the Docker, then we will start our Kubernetes sessions. Thank you guys.